So someone's going to ask, aren't you the guy who says parts forming is objectively bad? Yes, I am. So do you think it's bad here? Yes, it is. But it is understandable here. They are going for something entirely different. Do I think these figures would benefit from not parts forming during the transformation? Yes, I do. But I just can't find myself getting angry at something that's not what I expect because it doesn't want to be what I expect. All right, let's just smash our way into this one. You know the format. Welcome to What's the Best? What's the best Weaponizer, period. 6-gun. The figure that convinced me that Weaponizers were a worthwhile idea. What can I say? Unlike that hideous dumpster fire cog, this guy's rocking a kick-ass look. He's got the classic seeker guns on his elbows, he's got a face painted more than just one color, he's not got dumpy proportions, though posability on this guy is a little weird. The shoulders are kind of mounted in a strange place, and the arms just don't move how you need them to. His feet also have this completely pointless split down the middle of them that give him some toe tilt, but it's uselessly loose. Really, this joint is meant for transformation, but there is never a reason to use this. It's like 0.0000001% better looking because of it. Time for the transformation, guys. Finger quotes until my fingers break. This guy actually does more transforming than what is typical of a Weaponizer, but this is still the Lego show. And you end up with this. It's a thing. It's more of a thing than Cog was. Cog turned into fucking nothing. This is a helicopter VTOL-ish thing. I can see function in this, unlike Cog. So this is a significantly better alt mode than Cog had. I mean, this is like a 3 out of 10 on the convincing scale, but Cog was at like a -2, so yeah. Let's do the actual stuff this was made to do. What kind of puts this guy up over is that he kind of turns into all the coolest stuff in the entire Weaponizer subgroup, and he's really mix and matchable. For whatever reason, most of the other Weaponizers are very limited in the amount of creativity you can hit with them. That said, these Legzookas are lame, and they don't even make for good booster shoes. I got a question though, what part of our lizard brain is like, tall shoes makes more strong? Outside that useless nonsense, he turns into a pretty sweet deployable shield, a dope jetpack, a set of turrets, and a kick-ass power fist. It'd have been so much cooler if all the Weaponizers had been designed to gestalt together, but we gotta settle for fan modes if we want that. But yeah, 6-gun, the figure that made me appreciate the Weaponizers after the bad impression given to me by Cog. Zoidberg. I picked up Zoidberg entirely because he turns into a maser tank. This guy has some problems. He can't really hold a gun and make it look cool because of his claw hands. Well, actually, it's because his claw hands bend the wrong way. If his elbows were on the sides, then you could peg the gun into one of these ports. He's also got some irritating kibble parts. Like, there's nowhere for these pieces to go in robot mode that looks any good. Also, his arms are on the stumpy side while his legs aren't long. He's not quite the disproportionate nightmare some figures are, but it's less than ideal. Transformation. He's got more of a transformation than the next figure I'm about to talk about, I'll tell you that much. And he ends up as this sweet-ass maser tank. I don't know why the Decepticons are out there battling Godzilla, but who would, I'd pay so much goddamn money to see a Godzilla versus the Transformers movie. Anyways, he doesn't really pose better than 6-gun. While he doesn't have the shoulder issues that 6-gun had, he also doesn't have wrists or hands. And I've already mentioned how he just can't hold a gun, so he dodged a bullet only to fall into a hole. Alright, well, let's see the other stuff he does. Yeah, this is where Zoidberg really falls flat on his face. The problem with Brunt is that he kind of needs all of his components to make a single thing out of him. Like, he's got this whole back scorpion dual chainsaw thing, which is kind of pretty cool, but it's also just 100% the figure strapped to the back of another. And then you got his moon shoes, and they're better than 6-gun's version of him. I suppose you can give the leg cannon to another figure, kind of. It's too big. Like, it's just ridiculously sized compared to any other deluxe. Yeah, he's not great at the whole being a guy made of guns thing, because he's, like, not made of any. On to Ironworks. This figure kinda works. But yeah, this is one of the cooler robot modes among the Weaponizers. Why is it that all the Weaponizers don't have faces? Anyways, yeah, he looks cool, but what's really disrupting the look is the peg sticking off this fist. He comes with a pretty cool gun. It's basically the same part that comes with a dozen other figures, but it's also got an extra component, and it's painted right, so it looks more like an industrial tool than the shoulder rocket it started life as. Looks kinda like a welder, or a rivet gun or something. He's got a hook hand, which I swear more and more Transformers are getting made with hook hands, or punch dildos. I mean, they've kind of been in the franchise since the beginning, but it just feels like it's ramping up. Posability's a bit better than the last two. Technically, he kind of has a wrist swivel on the hook hand, and he doesn't have 6-gun's messed up shoulders, nor Zoidberg's claws, so he's doing pretty good, but he doesn't really have a waist swivel. What else can he do pretty good? Well, he can make a pretty good set of armor. In fact, probably the best set. Unlike any of the others, he actually becomes armor. Like, there's a point to the moon boots this time, in that he makes a pretty substantial upgrade to the defense of the people using it. Wait, I'm jumping ahead. Let's go back. He also makes a pretty good gas station? I'm not quite sure what this is. I guess it's not pretty good. It's like a platform with the box on it. It's a dock? What is this? It's got a crane. It's some kind of industrial thing. It looks industrial. It's a thing. It's an industrial thing. He also turns into a tower. I'm not gonna lie, these things are nothing. But I kind of like it. It makes me think of like a post-apocalypse movie or something. It's like something made out of a junkyard. Some very flawed tool someone made out of garbage because it's all they had access to. It's working for me. It's not great, but it's doing the subjective trick. I legitimately did not realize just how much of a nothing he turns into until I sat down to write this review. Okay, back to the better stuff he does. He makes armor, a shield, a giant awful punch claw, and like shoulder-mounted Vishnu arms that will let whoever's wielding him to use 4 guns at once. As a Weaponizer, he's pretty cool. His alt modes kinda suck, but the whole gimmick he's built around is working. Airwave. Haha! This was actually a stealth review for this new figure the whole time! Yes, I made this whole thing as an excuse to review a freshly bought figure to try and chase some of that algorithm money. Not that I make any money. One day! So I'm shocked how much I'm liking this guy. Like, I didn't think the pictures of him looked at all good, but in hand, he's a lot more satisfying than you'd expect. Or at least more than I expected. I think it's the colors. That rich blue, that strong gray, and that very pleasing Halloween orange. I love this orange. Halloween is one of the 2 best times of the year, and he's got that pleasing pumpkin color. I'm so glad I got this in October. The squashed head doesn't bother me as much as I thought it would, though I gotta ask, what's with his toes? Like, why do they stop before the end of his foot? There's nothing in transformation or his alt modes that prevents these from going to the edge. It's a weird minor nitpick, but it does bother me. Yet another character rocking the punch dildo instead of a hand, and then you can make it overcompensate. I also gotta point out, separating these 2 parts makes this sound. Nice. Posability on him is quite good, probably the best of the weaponizers. All his joints are tight, he's got large feet giving him a stable standing base, he's got better shoulder joints, and he's got a full waist rotation. Basically everyone else is missing at least one joint except for him. Transformation on him is a little clashier, and during it he transforms about exactly as much as Ironworks, which is to say his head spins around and flips down. I suppose his legs do unfurl, so I gotta give him more points for that, and he becomes a road with a convenience store on it. You look at this and you tell me that's not what this is! Like Ironworks before him, he also has a second approved alt mode, a land aircraft carrier on treads. And I gotta say, this idea is fucking cool. Like, damn, that's a rad idea. I mean, it's completely impractical, but it's awesome as fuck. Like, you don't invent this to be useful. You invent it because you want your enemies to know a really cool guy killed them. On to the Weaponizer thing, and he kinda just doesn't do it. The instructions don't list anything he turns into except for this, and well, this isn't, this is just bullshit. And I can't find anything online about other stuff he's supposed to turn into, because I'm pretty sure he's really not supposed to turn into anything else. You can do the whole moon boots thing. I suppose he's trying to flex on everyone else by making his moon boots the tallest of all of them. You can do the Vishnu thing with the extra arms. You can make a giant terrible shield. You can unfold the legs and make like a ribbon shield, like the most armored pauldrons of all time. It's like some kind of armor you'd see in an anime. You can have the Halloween crotch. You can have smaller moon boots. Yeah, he's not playing quite the same game as everyone else, it seems. So, what's the best? In last place is Cog. And you may be like, but you didn't even review Cog. That's because I don't have Cog. Because I returned him, because he sucked like a head wound. You could not glue him together. All it wanted to do was fall to pieces. It's ugly in robot mode and much uglier in vehicle mode. And he's a bad weaponizer because unlike almost all the others, his body parts remained almost perfectly intact and perfectly proportioned as they were. So it just looks like the figures that were using him had glued the severed body parts of another guy all over themselves as weapons. The others all managed to not just look like body parts strapped on willy-nilly. Outside that, this is a hard one. I guess 4th place is Airwave? He's not quite good at the whole weaponizer thing he's based around, but he does have a really good alt mode. And Brunt is basically the exact same. Good alt mode, bad weaponizing. And Ironworks has bad alt modes, but good weaponizing. This is hard. Screw it. 3-way tie for 2nd place. No. Okay, the legs make a decent shield. Ironworks makes an awful claw, but good armor. Brunt makes a fun tank. Fuck. Okay. Brunt has bad arm posability, his weaponizing is very subpar, though he's got a cool alt mode, but I think I'm going to have to give Brunt Zoidberg 4th. Ironworks makes solid armor, but has less posability than Airwave, and his alt modes are objectively not very good. Airwave has good posability and 2 good alt modes, but not great at the whole weaponizing thing, the whole point of the line. I think Airwave has to take 2nd place. What an upset, from 4th to 2nd. If it's not obvious by now, though, 6-gun is number 1. Best robot mode, best weaponizing, acceptable alt mode, 6-gun is the best. But I wouldn't warn anyone away from any of these figures, though. Except for Cog. Screw Cog. And that's not half of what I have to say, but it's enough of what I have to say. Anyways, I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.